As we all know, small businesses make up nearly 44% of America's GDP. In total, there are 34.8 million small businesses in the United States, which employ nearly half of American workers. And despite the recent 90-day timeout on some of these tariffs, Yale University researchers say that our nation's tariffs are currently at their highest level since the Great Depression. These blanket taxes, and tariffs are taxes, are also raising costs directly or indirectly on every good that small business needs. We were a bit troubled when SBA didn't bother to brief the subcommittee staff following its March 21st announcement that it would be slashing the agency's workforce by 43%.
This hearing marks the first of our efforts in the new congressional term to examine and strengthen the foundation of America's economy, our small businesses. As we look ahead to shaping the 2026 budget and policy landscape, it is both timely and essential that we take a clear-eyed look at the challenges and opportunities facing America's small business community.
And now, I'd like to turn to Senator Reid for his opening statement.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this hearing. It is our first hearing, as you noted, and I look forward to working together as we advance the 2026 bill on a productive and very bipartisan basis. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And welcome, Administrator Loeffler and colleague Loeffler. Thank you for your service. You are here on behalf of the Small Business Administration, and we look forward to your testimony. As we all know, small businesses make up nearly 44% of America's GDP. In total, there are 34.8 million small businesses in the United States, which employ nearly half of American workers. In my home state of Rhode Island, there are over 100,000 small businesses employing the majority of Rhode Island workers. But the uncertainty created by President Trump's tariff regime is putting many of these businesses at risk. Indeed, where margins are tight, disruptive tariffs can sink a small business. And despite the recent 90-day timeout on some of these tariffs, Yale University researchers say that our nation's tariffs are currently at their highest level since the Great Depression. These blanket taxes, and tariffs are taxes, are also raising costs directly or indirectly on every good that small business needs. Indeed, I recently heard from Mills Coffee Roasting Company, a coffee roaster located in Providence that was founded in the 1890s. The president's blanket 10% tariff will increase Mills Coffee's cost by around $400,000 this year. That's a big number for small business. And coffee can only be grown in certain climates, meaning there is almost no domestic alternative to the coffee beans they import. In other words, despite the president's claims, his tariffs on Mills Coffee simply punish American companies that provided jobs for over 150 years without bringing the production of their imports coffee beans back to the United States. As the president's on-and-off-again tariffs roil supply chains and small business finances, the question is, what is a small business doing to meet the moment? What we're seeing is cutting staff that respond during disasters, closing offices that help coordinate local businesses' access to SBA programs in times of economic uncertainty, freezing and canceling millions of dollars in grants that help small businesses start, grow, and thrive. And further, in President Trump's fiscal year 2026 skinny budget, the administration proposes cutting SBA by over 30%. Including the elimination of nearly all of SBA's training, counseling, and mentorship programs that support small business across the country. And one asks the question, how does slashing these resources for small business help local companies grow or outcompete their foreign rivals? And it is obvious that this skinny budget eliminates 15 of the 16 entrepreneurial development programs, retaining only small business development centers. And one of those 15 programs slated for elimination is the SBA Veterans Outreach Program, which provides targeted veteran small business programming. And frankly, this is unacceptable. Veterans have served, they've earned the respect, and more than the respect of the American people, and they're uniquely positioned to be small business owners, given their leadership skills and what they've learned from their military service. And in fact, we have to do much more, not less, for these veterans. And Administrator Loeffler, I look forward to working with you, but we all understand, as you did, particularly as a senator from Georgia, that the power of the purse and the responsibility to conduct oversight of the executive branch rests with Congress. So we would ask that you and your colleagues and fellow workers be responsive to us in terms of any requests we make for information. And in fact, 713 section of the Financial Services General Government Act explicitly bars any agency from preventing its employees to converse with members of Congress. And we were a bit troubled when SBA didn't bother to brief the subcommittee staff following its March 21st announcement that it would be slashing the agency's workforce by 43%. And the responsiveness has to be improved, frankly, Madam Director. And you appreciate that as a former senator. I'm sure many times you were frustrated, and please remember those days. There's a lot of work to do, and we want to do it together, and we want to make progress for the country. And thank you, Madam Administrator, for being here, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
As we all know, small businesses are not just a pillar of our national economy, they are the backbone of our local communities. They account for nearly 44% of the U.S. gross domestic product, encompass over 34 million enterprises, and employ nearly half of all private sector workers. In states like my own Rhode Island, small businesses constitute the majority of employers, forming the lifeblood of our cities and towns, and serving as incubators for innovation, job training, and upward mobility. However, the economic environment in which these businesses operate has become increasingly unpredictable and unstable. From fluctuating global trade policies to administrative budget cuts, many small business owners now face a level of economic uncertainty that undermines their capacity to invest, grow, and hire. Chief among these concerns is the legacy of President Trump's tariff regime, which has imposed a significant burden on businesses that rely on imported materials and goods not readily available in the U.S. market.